Hi guys, I really don't know what the Tories are playing at. They still seem to think that the Rwanda scheme would have worked if only Labour hadn't scrapped it. But it was seen by voters both on the left and on the right as a failure, and as part of the reason why the Conservatives were kicked out in the first place. So in some bad news politically for Kemi Badenoch and our party, the UK it seems has signed a deal with Germany to tackle the so-called small boats crisis by seizing some of the vessels in Germany before they're transferred to France. Now, while Philp here is correct in a sense that it's a bit like a game of whack-a-mole, his solution would make even less sense. Have a listen.
Do you have praise for the deal that was done with the Germans, making migrant smuggling to the UK a specific criminal offence? That was signed yesterday.
Well, look, it certainly won't do any harm, but it would be very naive to assume that this will fix the problem, because the National Crime Agency themselves have said you need a deterrent to stop small boats crossing the Channel. And of course, we had a deterrent, the Rwanda scheme, which the Labour government cancelled before it even started. And as a result of that, Channel crossings this year are 18%, since the election, are 18% higher compared to the same period last year. So since the election, an 18% year-on-year increase because they scrapped the deterrent. We've seen deterrents work elsewhere in Australia, for example, so Labour were wrong to do that. They've also got a bit of a cheek trumpeting this when it was Labour in opposition who voted against the bill, the Nationality and Borders Act, which contained life sentences for people smuggling gangs, the gangs they now claim they want to smash.
Yeah, you keep banging on about the deterrent, but, you didn't send anybody to Rwanda, and you're going to say the flights would have gone, but they didn't.
The first flight was due to take off on the 24th of July, but Labour cancelled it, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, OK. We'll never know now, will we? Obviously, if they are seizing the boats in Germany that are being transitioned through Germany or stored in Germany by these smuggling gangs, then that is a deterrent.
Well, I mean, it might help at the margins disrupt people smugglers, but as the national
boats, they can't get across the channel.
But as the National Crime Agency said, you take out one criminal gang, another one pops up in its place, and that's why you need a systemic deterrent, like, for example, ensuring that people who come across the channel illegally get rapidly sent to somewhere like Rwanda. We saw that work in Australia about 10 years ago. Their programme was called Operation Sovereign Borders.
Oh my goodness, okay. Why did the Rwanda scheme not work? Because the Supreme Court said that Rwanda is not a safe country. So while the Conservatives would say, well, we had planes ready to go, well, you can't really blame Labour for that, because it was Rishi Sunak that decided, let's have a general election now. He had put so much political capital into sending people to Rwanda. In the end, was it 4 people flew there? And there were volunteers who received about £3,000 each to fly to Rwanda. But he said, no, don't worry, we're going to send a plane load of people over. But there was no guarantee that was going to happen. And there's so many things to respond to here. First of all, Rwanda said that there would be a cap on the number of people arriving, while the Tories were saying, no, it will be uncapped. So who would you believe in that situation? The Rwandan government, who would be hosting the people, or the Conservative Party, who have a long track record of telling the truth? Okay. There was the issue of sending people to a country that's unsafe. There was the issue that the UK government, and still doing it, I believe, is granting asylum to people from Rwanda. So what's to stop somebody from taking the £3,000, going to Rwanda, and then returning and claiming asylum, or trying to claim asylum? But they keep saying this was a deterrent. A deterrent in what way? Because we're talking about a few hundred people. Maximum, if it was to succeed, a few hundred people per year. What sort of deterrent is that? The Conservatives keep saying it was a deterrent. But at the end of the day, look, they were kicked out of power. Part of the reason was immigration. But they keep banging on about, we are the party of immigration. We're the party to bring down the numbers. If you care about immigration, if you're truly concerned about it in the way that the Conservatives think people are, why would they vote for the Conservative Party going forward? There's somebody else on the block. Reform UK, Nigel Farage, can promise the sun, moon and stars to people who are concerned about immigration. But the Conservatives still think they can win these people back. By talking about what? Talking about Rwanda. And I wouldn't be surprised if going into the next election, they will try to resuscitate the Rwanda scheme. They'll say, well, let's give it another go. Perhaps we can send another 700 million pounds to Rwanda, and this time it will work. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.